Hi, Dr. Ariane from the Movement Paradigm. Today we're going to talk about 7 ways that you can optimize your gut and your mental well-being. Now, many of you have heard me speak about this before, which is how powerful the gut-brain connection really is. That what we are fueling our body with, what we're putting in and day out, is directly affecting our brain. And the thoughts and the emotions and the ability to regulate our nervous system is directly affecting our gut. So this beautiful relationship is something that we can optimize through some of our daily habits, our choices, and just recognizing what are the things that are going to really help our overall emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Number 1 is optimizing digestion. One of the easiest things that I suggest is taking 3 diaphragmatic breaths right before you eat. Because when we are bringing blood flow to the autonomic nervous system, to the digestive tract, when we're eating, we are going to optimize our digestive capabilities. If we are multitasking, so we're looking at our computer, looking at our phone, reading, etc., that means that we are ultimately in a fight or flight. So there's cortisol that's increasing, driving blood flow away from the digestive tract, slowing our capability down. So if we can take 3 breaths before we eat, at least or more, bring ourselves to that parasympathetic state, bring ourselves to that state of rest and digest. In addition to that, chewing food 20 to 30 times. This really helps to create the mechanical breakdown starting in our mouth with our saliva that is releasing enzymes to break down our food. It's also signaling to the body to get ready so that we can optimize our bile, our pancreatic enzymes, our hydrochloric acids, so that we can break down the food into very, very, very fine particles before it hits the small intestine. Number 2, which feeds right into this, is balancing your nervous system. So there are so many ways to balance your nervous system. And if you follow any of our videos and our content, you realize that there are endless possibilities. And so much of it is finding what is most important to you, what resonates with you. But it can be anything from diaphragmatic breathing to walking, to getting out into nature, to doing specific vagus nerve exercises, to dancing, to authentic movement, somatic movement where you're expressing your emotions. It could be talking to a friend. There are lots of ways to balance your nervous system, but recognizing which nervous system state you're in. Are you in a state of safety and connection? Are you in a fight or flight? Or are you in a free state? And then being able to regulate that, knowing, being able to identify, and then being able to choose what you can do to become more resilient and bring yourself back to that state of safety and connection so that you can navigate life's challenges. Number 3 is movement and exercise. This can actually help with the diversity in our microbiome. So this can ultimately be very protective in things like colon cancer and gastrointestinal disease. So making sure that movement is a priority in your life. That could mean walking, that could mean lifting, that could mean running, but really trying to think of exercise and movement. So in my world, they're a little different because we want to think about moving all day long. Our bodies crave movement. That's what we want. That's what gives us a healthy nervous system and a healthy gut. And so if we can think about movement as this gift that we're nourishing and we are appreciating, and then exercise where we're pushing our body outside of its comfort zone. So we're taking it a little bit past what it needs so that it can adapt and change and grow and evolve. Number 4 is probiotic and prebiotic rich foods. So the way to think of this is that if you are relatively healthy, you don't have any obvious digestive issues, relatively healthy overall, then it's most likely easy for you to incorporate probiotic rich foods, things like kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, active live cultures, perhaps even a probiotic supplement. Now, if you have gut issues and you're not really sure what they are, this is where it's really beneficial to look at a stool test to be able to identify what that is. Because there's a lot of people who have gut issues that probiotics are not well tolerated. If there's anything that's going on in the small intestine, like SIBO, this is where most often that's not going to be your first step, can be tolerated at times. So we want to think about where you are in the scheme of things. But as it relates to just general health and well-being, mental health well-being, then probiotic rich foods are great. When we're thinking about psychobiotics that are more specific strains as it relates to mental health, that is going to be lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. And these are the two most common strains that you'll see in a probiotic supplement as well. So these can be really geared towards mental health. And there's been a lot of great research with that. And then also we want to think of prebiotic foods, things like bananas, garlic, onions. These can all be really beneficial. Prebiotics, which is think of the fiber sources that the probiotics are feeding on. Number 5 is anti-inflammatory foods. So we want to think about things like omega-3s, increasing those through fatty fish, through things like walnuts, flax seeds. Simultaneously, perhaps decreasing some of our omega-6s. This can be some of our higher fat foods, things like seed oils, for example, are a big source of these that are in all of our packaged foods, but really trying to optimize anti-inflammatory nutrients. So this can be, again, think of our omega-3s, but also our phytonutrient-rich foods. I think lots of colors is a great way to think about anti-inflammatory. A lot of diversity, reds, blues, yellows, etc., all of our different colors, because they're all providing different specific nutrients to assist our biochemistry in thriving. Number 6 is a fiber-rich environment. So important for a healthy microbiome. So we want to aim for at least 25, upwards of 35 grams a day. It does depend on your weight and your intake, but at least 25 grams a day of fiber. And we want this from different sources of fiber and a variety of fiber. So this is where the diversity is way more important than simply just getting fiber in. The diversity of the fiber sources is really what helps the beneficial bacteria flourish. And lastly, we can get a little more specific with certain nutrients. So for example, we can aim for tryptophan-rich foods. This is the precursor for serotonin. Think of that as our happiness hormone. This can include things like turkey and eggs. We can also have things like tyrosine precursors for dopamine. This can include things like meat or almonds. So there's lots of very specific nutrients that we need. So if we think about our neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and dopamine and GABA, we need proteins are the building blocks of these neurotransmitters. So focusing on a protein-rich diet is really important. So these are just 7 things out of many, but hopefully it gives you a really good taste of all of the things, all of the possibilities that we have to optimize this relationship between the gut and the brain. I hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure to give it a like, give it a share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Movement Paradigm, for weekly tips on mindset, nutrition, movement. Please reach out if you would like a discovery session, if you want to learn more about how we can help you on your journey, and we look forward to helping you get well.